No!
Now, do we have some other fart sound options?
That was really unfunny. Let me do that again.
Can we make our little bitch boy fill in our sign?
Standing by.
It's cancer.
What was that last one, yeah? Go again.
Hi.
Yeah, that's good. Do the show.
So maybe like I'll come around to the side.
I put a good fart in the script.
Oi, perfectionist. Perfectionist. Fuck off.
Bring me a drink.
Higher, higher, higher. Yeah.
We've got boats to rename.
I shouldn't have done that word.
This is the shittest cafe in the world.
I listened to like so many farts. And I found
Standing by.
What is this job?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much. Welcome to Tonightly. Hot crowd. Hot crowd tonight. I can feel it. Good crowd. I like this crowd. There's a lot going on. Thanks for joining us. Joining me at the guest tonight is journalist and New York Times best-selling author Johann, everyone. They'll be here. That'll be good. Hey, big day. It is World Press Freedom Day, everybody. Sure. Today we celebrate the importance of a free press. Vital. This year's theme is keeping power in check, media, justice and the rule of law. Weirdly, in Russia, they celebrate it differently. It's just called World Day Keeping Power in Rule. Different angle they've gone with it. We're lucky in Australia. We're part of the 13% of the world population that enjoys a free press, which is great, but, you know, it's not to say that brave journos don't face danger here in Australia, as a current affairs Tim Avier knows too well.
Serial pervert con man, aren't you? That's who you are.
It's tough out there. For the most part, we enjoy a freedom that other countries simply don't allow, and of course, there was no wonder that today, of all days, our press, our free press here in Australia, celebrated their freedom by photoshopping the French president as Pepe Le Pew, reporting that Apollo Jackson is the new Tim Tam Genie, and revealing the beauty secrets of the world's hottest grandmother. Okay, that one is fake news, right? My grandmother is way hotter than that lady. You were robbed, Nola. You are a gilf, Nola, and I love you. 99 eps, eh? Of course, there are still some restrictions on press freedom in Australia, such as defamation law. 2017's Press Freedom Medal winner Michael Cameron said today that Australia's defamation laws are such that if the Weinstein story had come out of Australia, he'd be suing here and probably have a good chance of winning. Of course, we'd never have a Weinstein story here. No one in Australia would ever produce popular and critically acclaimed films. It's different. It wouldn't happen here. It wouldn't happen. Looking ahead, there are also proposed anti-spy laws that originally put through last year could be a threat to press freedom. The changes are designed to overhaul Australia's intelligence and espionage laws.
Under these new draft laws, journalists could be jailed just for possessing documents that might harm Australia's national interests.
Yeah, the new laws could see offenders jailed for up to 20 years. It's pretty scary, but not as scary as this.
Cops are just there.
It's funny because he fell down. Journalists are concerned about these laws, but ASIO said in March that they couldn't have an exemption for the media because posing as a journalist would be the ideal cover for foreign spies. Which is, I think, a bit ridiculous. There is no way there are Australian journalists that are spies.
Undercover cop is back.
Uniform, check. Disguise, check. Now it's time to be at your service.
Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up. Another big news, the Commonwealth Bank is an ethical, competent organisation which always operates with its customers' best interests at heart. Not!
The Commonwealth Bank is in trouble again, this time over a security blunder. It's admitted losing historical files linked to nearly 20 million customers.
Oh yeah, just 20 million customers? I mean, hey, that's almost less than all of Australia. This incompetence is all part of CBA's rebrand, changing the slogan from which bank to what is a bank? What kind of historical files are we talking about here?
There were 2 special magnetic tapes which contained personal information linked to almost 20 million accounts. This data included names and addresses, account numbers, and about 15 years' worth of transaction history.
15 years of transaction history. That includes transactions people were making back in 2003, which I assume mainly involved purchasing Nokia 3210s with Delta Goodrem ringtones and buying the last of the good ecstasy. The last of it. All right? All this information was stored on the most secure of formats, 2 magnetic tapes. Hey, come back. Here's an idea. Can I suggest maybe taking some of the $4.8 billion profit you've made this financial year already and investing it in some more advanced technology like, I don't know, fucking CDs? How'd they lose these tapes?
These tapes were given to a subcontractor who was supposed to destroy them. Somehow they lost track of them, so no one can be certain that these tapes were correctly disposed of.
Good news, everybody. We found the tapes. We found the tapes here at Tonightly. We got the tapes. If anyone from the Commonwealth Bank is watching, I'm prepared to give you these back to you. All I ask is that you answer me one question. What are the Dolomites? What are they? Are they space crabs? What the fuck are they, man? Could be yours. Goddamn space crabs. This revelation is just more bad news for CBA at a time of some really, really bad news.
This comes at a horrible time for the Commonwealth Bank. There were disturbing revelations in the Royal Commission, including that they had continued to charge fees knowingly to people who had died for up to 10 years. Spare a thought for their new CEO, Matt Comyn, started only last month.
Yes, please, everyone. Spare a thought for the CEO of Combank, Matt Comyn. Gee, I hope he's going to be okay doing his job. All he's getting in return is a base pay of $2.2 million a year. Hang in there, Matty. We're fucking with you, mate. What the hell's going on with the culture of the Commonwealth Bank? All the incompetence, all the horrible misconduct. It is ridiculous. The culture was even on display in the apology video that they released after this latest scandal. Take a look.
Hi everyone. I want to share some information with you about a privacy incident from 2016 which was reported in the media this week. In May 2016, we were unable to confirm that 2 magnetic tapes were securely disposed of. These magnetic tapes contained information used to print account statements. The tapes did not contain PINs, passwords or other data that could enable account fraud. Most likely, the tapes have been disposed of, but without the evidence, we immediately launched an investigation and notified our regulators, APRA and the Privacy Commissioner. CBA also commissioned an independent forensic investigation by KPMG to help us identify steps we could take to avoid similar incidents in the future. There is no action for our customers at this time. As I mentioned previously, there is no evidence that account information has been compromised, and our investigation indicates that the tapes in question were most likely disposed of. Having said that, customers with any concerns about this incident can get more information by visiting our website, combank.com.au.
Got the tapes, baby. Now to some Peppa Pig news. Word on the street is Peppa Pig's in big trouble.
Peppa, if you jump in muddy puddles, you must wear your boots.
Sorry, Mummy.
Sorry's not good enough, you little bitch. I love you, Peppa. Everyone loves you. OK, I'm being told there is some more Peppa Pig news.
Now, the world-famous children's cartoon Peppa Pig has been pulled from a popular Chinese video-sharing app.
State media says the lovable pig has become part of a counter-culture movement with links to organised crime and anti-government attitudes.
Peppa! First the boots and now some organised crime? What the fuck have you done, you little bitch? In China, this is real. Peppa Pig has become a symbol of anti-government sentiment, with hardcore Peppa Pig tattoos becoming a popular way to show disaffection. A choice which those people will definitely not regret, in the same way that I do not regret my Blinky Bill tramp stamp. Still looks good. Peppa Pig's recent ban comes after a string of other bans by the Chinese government on other pop culture matters, including a short-lived ban on homosexual content, the censorship of hip-hop music, and banning Winnie the Pooh for looking too much like Chinese President Xi Jinping. And he said it's ridiculous, it's not true. I mean, you know, here's a picture of Xi Jinping. It's nothing like Winnie... OK. No, I'm being told that is Winnie the Pooh. This is President Xi Jinping. I see it now, I kind of get it, yeah. This leaves us with the question, are these Chinese government restrictions going too far, or is Peppa Pig actually a bad influence? Let's take a look at the latest episode to find out.
Peppa Pig was having trouble fitting into mainstream Chinese society.
The Chinese government doesn't like me, and I don't understand why. It's okay, Peppa. I like you. God, I hate you, George. I'm going to find new friends.
So Peppa went on a journey to find someone who liked her for who she was.
Hi, I'm a Chinese dissident. Are you a communist pig?
No, I'm a Peppa Pig.
Cool. Want to join my anti-government gang?
A gang? Absolutely.
Peppa Pig went with the Chinese dissident to meet the other gang members.
Hang on. What kind of gang are you?
I make hip-hop music. Oh, bother. I look like the president.
And I'm gay.
Wow! Sounds like a pretty cool gang. When do we murder people?
We would never do that. What's wrong with you?
If you don't commit crimes, how come the government hates you?
Because we exist.
We should have a party.
Hope it's not a people's party.
They celebrated their differences and freedom of thought well into the night. And then... Sorry, who are you? What are you doing here? No, who are you? Run! Run, Peppa! Run! Run, Peppa, no!
They interrupt this broadcast to bring you a message from Peppa Pig.
I love the Chinese government or our President Xi Jinping, who we know he looks like Winnie the Pooh.
For a year now, we've been without a US ambassador to Australia. You can really feel it, can't you? I know, guys, me too. We did have one planned. Admiral Harry Harris was going to be the ambassador to Australia, but then last week they sent him to South Korea. Ridiculous. We need a US ambassador. My dream pick, a beloved American who knows his country well, Richard Reed. I trust that guy. I say time is up. We need to get some American over here to ambassador the shit out of us. Luckily, Los Angeles-based Australian comedian Monty Franklin is on the job.
Since Donald Trump took office over a year and a half ago, he's left over 200 positions in his administration unfilled, including the US ambassador to Australia. So I've taken it upon myself to find a US ambassador that we deserve in the best way that I know how.
Craigslist, a haven for weirdos and stolen BMX bikes. And where Australia's ambitious US ambassador eagerly awaits. Let the questioning begin.
Okay, thanks for coming in. Where are you from?
Buongiorno, Italia.
Okay, do you have citizenship in Australia?
I do not.
Do you have citizenship in America?
I do not. Is that a requirement?
No, I don't think so. Where are you from?
Encinitas.
Encinitas. Oh, fantastic. Where's that?
Southern California.
What state is that in?
California.
Okay, good. Just checking. What foreign policy experience do you have?
0.
Perfect. That's exactly right. What do you think will be the hardest part of this job?
Foreign policy.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, correct. What do you think will be the hardest part of the job?
Convincing them to get an espresso machine.
I think you'll be all right. Particularly if you're in Melbourne, you should be fine. Who's this gentleman? No?
No.
No idea?
I'm not sure. I've never seen him before in my life.
Can you point out on the map where Australia is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Yeah, do it now.
No.
No? Yes.
Here.
Okay, perfect. And do you know what country this is?
No idea.
No? And what country is this?
Tasmania?
Yes, the country of Tasmania, correct. What is a Canberra?
A drinking bottle?
A Canberra.
Yeah.
Small animal?
Yes, yes it is. It's a small animal. Becky is late for mixed netball. Do you A, get Tina to play wing defence, even though she's shit? B, call Becky a mole and piss the game off? Or C, start a punch-on with the other team?
What's netball?
Tell me, in your words, what do you think this sentence means? Grab a slab from the bottle-o and we'll go skull tinnies in the back of me ute.
Oh, drinking on a yacht.
Pretty good, pretty good. Drinking on a yacht. Some people treat their utes like yachts.
Grab a girl from the back, bring it up front, get the boys involved.
Yep, okay. That's the rugby league approach. It came down to 3 hopefuls. But how to be sure who could adequately handle the position of US ambassador and assimilate properly into Australian culture?
Darcy!
And we have a winner! Very well done. The new ambassador. Godspeed, Lydia. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
My guest tonight is a journalist and author in the country for Sydney Writers' Festival with his New York Times bestseller, Lost Connections, uncovering the real causes of depression and the unexpected solutions.
You're not crazy. Your pain is not a pathology. Your pain makes sense. We are depressed and anxious in this culture for perfectly good reasons. We are living in a culture that does not meet our basic needs for connection, for meaning, for purpose, for a sense of the future. And that is the key reason why we're depressed.
His name is Johann, and he joined me in the studio earlier today. Johann, hello.
Hooray.
Hooray!
Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for coming on my comedy show. Let's talk about depression.
Hooray. I like the depressing bit in the insets for like shows like Comic Relief where they go, and now the dying children.
Yes.
Exactly.
Here we go. World Health Organization says depression is now the leading cause of ill health and disability. You reckon that we've got our thinking around mental health and depression wrong, and the causes, what causes depression and anxiety?
Yeah, well, these two mysteries were really hanging over me, right? I'm 39 years old. Every year that I've been alive, depression and anxiety has increased. And when I was a teen, I want to understand why. When I was a teenager, I'd gone to my doctor, I'd explained that I had this feeling like pain was leaking out of me. And my doctor told me a story that was due entirely to things happening in my brain. So I drugged myself for 13 years. I felt a bit of relief from the drugs, but my depression continued. At the end of those 13 years, I wanted to understand what was really going on. So I ended up going on this big journey all over the world to meet the leading experts on what causes depression and anxiety and what solves them. And I discovered, until I went to my doctor when I was a teenager, I thought my depression was all in my head, meaning I was just being weak, I needed to man up. Then for the next 13 years, I thought it was all in my head, meaning it was just a chemical imbalance in my brain. Actually, what I learned is there are 9 causes of depression and anxiety. 2 of them are biological, but the other 7 are factors in the way we live. Most of what's driving this depression epidemic isn't in our heads, it's in our lives, and that opens up a very different set of solutions, ones that really work.
I mean, you hear that, and your argument in this book, Lost Connections, is also talking about those other 7 factors. The way that we live and the way society's set up, our environment, which causes mental health distress. But we look at so many examples of people who have a pretty sweet life from the outside of it. They've got everything that you could want, material need, family, connection, their career's going really great, and they still seem to be depressed and in some tragic circumstances take their own lives.
Yeah, so the way I think about that is if you, and I obviously asked a lot of experts about this, if we went back to the 1950s, loads of women would go to their doctor and they'd say, "Doctor, there's something wrong with my nerves." They would have said nerves then, because I've got everything a woman could possibly want. I've got a house, I've got a husband who doesn't beat me, I've got a car, washing machine, but I feel like shit, there must be something wrong with my nerves. And doctors would say, yes, there is, here's some Valium. Now, if we could go back in time, what we'd say to those women is, well, yeah, you've got everything you could possibly want by the standards of the culture, but the standards of the culture are just wrong. You need so much more than this. And the same is true now. Everyone watching your show knows they've got natural physical needs. Obviously, you need food, you need shelter, you need clean air. If I took them away from you, you'd be fucked really quickly, right? But there's equally strong evidence that human beings have natural psychological needs. You need to feel you belong. You need to feel your life has meaning and purpose. You need to feel that people see you and value you. You need to feel you've got a future that makes sense. And our culture is good at lots of things. I'm glad to be alive today. But we've been getting less and less good at meeting these deep underlying psychological needs. And that's the key reason why we've got this swelling epidemic of depression and anxiety.
I'll come to that in a sec. But I want to ask, why is it so attractive for us to believe that it's a chemical balance in the brain? Whose interests are served by saying that that is what causes depression?
Well, the crude answer is Big Pharma. Obviously, there's a massive industry in telling us that it's just a problem in our brain. I think that's a bit too simplistic. I think as a culture, we've wanted... I know I wanted a simple solution that's about swallowing a pill. There was a person who really helped me to think differently about this. I went to interview this South African psychiatrist called Derek Summerfield. He happened to be in Cambodia when chemical antidepressants were first introduced in that country. And the doctors didn't know where they were, so they asked him and he explained. And they said, oh, we don't need them, we've already got antidepressants. And he said, well, what do you mean? They told him, he thought they were going to talk about some kind of herbal remedy or something, right? Instead, they told him a story. There was a farmer in their community who worked in the rice fields. One day, he stood on a landmine and got his leg blown off. So they gave him an artificial leg, he went back to work in the fields. But apparently it's really painful to work underwater when you've got an artificial leg. I imagine it's traumatic for obvious reasons. The guy started to cry all day, didn't want to get out of bed, classic depression, right? So they said, well, we gave him an antidepressant. He said, well, what was it? They explained that they went and sat with him. They listened to him. They realised that his pain made sense. They figured if they bought him a cow, he could become a dairy farmer. He wouldn't be in this situation that was causing him so much distress. They bought him a cow. Within a couple of weeks, his crying stopped. Within a month, his depression was gone. They said to Derek, so that cow, that was an antidepressant, right? Now, it sounds like a joke if you've been trained to think about depression the way we have, but what those Cambodian doctors knew intuitively is what the leading medical body in the world, the World Health Organization, has been trying to tell us for years. If you're depressed, if you're anxious, you're not crazy, you're not a machine with broken parts, you're a human being with unmet needs. And a lot of my book, Lost Connections, is about saying, well, what is the cow for the factors that are making us depressed?
Well, Lost Connections, Johann, we're more connected than ever before. And there's nothing that makes people more happy than social media.
I wanted to understand this. I went to the first ever rehab centre for social media and video game addicts in Washington State. Actually, I arrived there, it's a clearing in the woods. First thing I did, absolutely instinctively, was check my phone and feel really pissed off I couldn't see my email, right? So I spent a lot of time with the people there.
No Wi-Fi there?
Literally none. It's unbearable. But what was fascinating is speaking to a lot of people there, and the woman, Dr. Hilary Kashi, runs it, is, I came to think the relationship between social media and social life is a bit like the relationship between porn and sex, right? I'm not anti-porn, it'll meet a certain basic itch. But if you spent your whole life, your sex life consisted of nothing but wanking over porn, you'd be going around feeling frustrated and irritated the whole time because your deeper needs are not being met. We didn't evolve just to wank over random images, we evolved to have sex, right? In a similar way, if too much of your social life if too much of your need for connection is filled with this kind of parody of connection that social media offers, you're not going to feel good. And I think part of the problem is that social media arrived at this particular moment, the late 90s, the early 2000s, when loads of the factors that are causing depression and anxiety, the 9 factors that I write about in Lost Connections, were already supercharged. And it looks a lot like the things we've lost, right? We've lost we've lost friends, so here's some Facebook friends. We've lost status, here's some status updates. But it's not the thing we've lost. It's a parody of the thing we've lost. What we need to do is reconnect with the more meaningful, have more meaningful connections.
We've got about a minute left, so how do we overcome the isolating effects of capitalism and meet everybody's needs and end mental health problems?
Oh, and solve the Middle East crisis while we're at it.
If you could.
Well,
it
begins by explaining to people your pain makes sense. You feel these ways for a reason, and you are surrounded by people who have the same needs and the same feelings. Once we have that insight, we can begin to look more deeply at what those causes are and the solutions. I've been to places, I've met the experts, I've seen how those solutions really work. They're there, these insights are there waiting for us when we're ready to pick them up.
All right, you can hear more from Johann on our podcast, the Tonightly Podcast, on the ABC Listen app. For now, thanks for chatting to me, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Go and hurry, everybody. Finally tonight, if you'll indulge us, we have a small farewell. We finish up our first season tomorrow night, 100 episodes. 100 episodes, everybody. It's pretty crazy. It's been a great run. One element of the show that some folks have criticised us for is all the filthy fucking swearing that we do. One critic in particular has been columnist for The Australian, Jared Henderson. Seen here being shocked by my language. Over the weeks, Henderson has catalogued the number of times I've used the Rudy F word per minute, by that I mean fuck, per minute of the show, which is a very cool and normal thing to do. In December, for example, he clocked 13 fucks in the show, while in February, tragically, I was down to just 9 fucks in one episode. To return the favour, I tried counting all the fucks who write for The Australian, but there's only so many hours in a day. Now, the truth is, I actually wasn't always this proficient at utilising cuss words. The ABC put me through some serious training for this gig. And myself and the whole team actually got to learn from an absolute master. Oh, and Jared, get ready to count.
It was late last year. I got a call from Tom Ballard. He was just getting his show off the ground. He had a big problem. He did not know how to swear. His mind was innocent. He had ambitions for his show, a sharp, filthy satire show, but his profanity muscle, impotent. My name is Artemis Kunst and I am a bespoke swearer designer and tonight with this Tom Ballard. After 7 months, this is my last day with the show. I guess you could say I'm at the top of my field. I studied at the Academy of Kunst in Berlin. I have the Scheikgabel Polytechnic in London. That's where you go when you really want to excel with the obscenities. Liam Gallagher, Courtney Love, Gordon Ramsay, they all pass through. We have won the Golden Toilet Award many times. I have more swear words in the Oxford Dictionary than anyone else. Kleck, Gidle, Slint. So as you can see here, I have something on the brew. Salamander fart. I mean, it's okay. It needs fleshing out a little, so maybe another bodily function in here. Yes, you see? Salamander cum fart. When I first started working with Tom and his team, they were truly bad. Their language was sloppy, like the wet shit of a hungover baby.
Come on, you can do better than this! Eggy fart breath?
Was ist das?
I can't insult that face!
Oh, Scheiße!
He's a beautiful cherub!
So we have to start from the very beginning.
Fuck this. Fuck you. Fucking shit. Fucking fuck. Fuck head. Fuck stick. Fuck stain.
Shit sells shit shells on the shit shores.
Pretend you are hearing the word fuck for the first time.
Shit sells shit shells on the shit shore. Yeah. Shit sells shit shells on the shit shore. Good scream! Yeah, yeah.
Slowly, they became stronger and stronger.
Can we add a shit into that sentence so that it reads, "Stop avoiding tax, you dickless piece of shit"?
Gradually, Tom began to change. His rhythms became peppered with profanity.
Fuck!
Fuck yeah!
Fucking fuck! Motherfuckers!
Fucking
Bullshit! Shit, the fucking rip-off. Cocksucker! This is funny. This is fucking funny.
To be honest, I don't know who is the master and who is the student anymore.
Fuck yeah! Let's get a camera, baby!
Well, I think that's about it. It's okay. I'm moving on. Just gotten a call from Prince Philip. He wants to say something disgusting before he does.
Thank you so much. I can't fucking thank you enough, you fucking fucker. I think I can say, honestly, that today, we are all Kunsts.
No. You are the biggest Kunst of all. How do I know if I've done my job? If I can make someone 50% filthier, at least